Hello, this is Ray Edwards from learncopy.com, and I would like to look at the coat of arms sales letter that was written by the late great copywriter Gary Halbert. Now, this is a letter, just one page, a simple one-page letter that was very successful and launched a business that eventually sold for $75 million. This is a letter that brought in over 20,000 checks per day, and according to Gary Halbert, took a force of 40 women to process these checks and cause a bank to actually dedicate its third floor and eventually a whole branch to processing these checks. And that is how successful this sales letter was. So even though it is just a one-page sales letter, I think that it deserves our attention to actually look at why it was so successful. Now here, as I mentioned before, this is simply a one-page, sales letter, and of course, it made a lot of money. It was mailed over 600 million times, brought in hundreds of millions of dollars, but the idea behind the letter was a lot more powerful than the letter itself. Okay, so you might think, it is just a one-page sales letter. What is so dramatic about this? I mean, how many marketing strategies and psychological techniques can you place in one sales letter, in one page of a sales letter? And of course, that would be a good question for you to ask. And I think the reason for the success of this letter was more so for the marketing idea, the big idea that was behind the letter, rather than the effectiveness of the copywriting of the letter, the letter itself. But anyhow, with that kind of background, we're going to take a look at the letter anyway and try to dig into the reason why it was so successful, along with many of the ideas that was shared by the copywriter himself, Gary Halbert, that you can find in the interview that he did with Mark Joyner in the comment section for this video. Okay, so here we see that everything was done in order to make sure that the letter actually looks like a personal letter. Okay, here we have the address of the person where it came from. We have personalization. It is written to we have the personalization, the name of the person that it was written to. The font of choice, well, this is just a PDF, but the font of choice was the old Courier font that made it look as though it was actually printed on a typewriter. Okay, and if we scroll down here, you can see here we have the signature of the person that it was sent from, which was the wife of Gary Halbert, and we have the PS as well too at the bottom of the letter. So it's just one page of the letter. This is a one-page letter that was sent, to and personalized to a particular, family using the person's last name. Outside, as Gary Halbert indicated, it was sent in a plain envelope with a normal first-class stamp. Nothing outside that would indicate that it was sent by a company. Everything, the way in which it was mailed indicated that it was a personal letter that was coming, as you would get a letter from, from a friend. Okay, so let's scroll back up to the beginning and see what we can learn from this letter. Okay, so here we have, as we said, the address of the person that is sent from, the phone number to indicate that this person is reachable. And it reads, "Dear Mr. McDonald, did you know that your family name was recorded with a coat of arms in ancient heraldic archives more than 7 centuries ago? My husband and I discovered this while doing some research for some friends of ours who have the same last name as you do. We have had an artist recreate the coat of arms exactly as described in the ancient records. This drawing, along with other information about the name, has been printed up into an attractive one-page report." Now, note here that the letter reads in a very friendly and casual way, and along with that, it also appeals, to the ego, and try to build some exclusivity into the letter as well too. So it is appealing to the person's sense of importance, that your name is important, you have a history that you might be interested in, you come from an important line, your lineage is a very important line, and therefore maybe you'll want to know about, your people and, the last name that you use in your family tree. Okay, so everything into this letter is built into a person's sense of family, a person's sense of importance. They want to find out, what is so special about their name, and so forth. Okay. So I said, did you know that your family name was recorded with a coat of arms in ancient heraldic archives more than 7 centuries ago? Now, right away, the beginning of the letter as well, too, not only trying to appeal to the person's ego, but also it starts out with a little known fact. This might be something that the person was not even aware of. Is like me, my family? Oh, no, I didn't know that. So it really hooks you at the beginning. It really hooks you at the beginning because here is a fact that is little known, and therefore you now become intrigued and you want to read further in order to find out, how did you find this out? How did you know? Where can I get that information from? Where did you get this information from? And so the question is answered right away. So in the second paragraph, he answers the question that he raised here. Okay, like, no, I didn't know this, so where did you get that information from? Well, the answer here, my husband and I discovered this while doing some research for some friends of ours who have the same last name as you do. We have had an artist recreate the coat of arms exactly as described in the ancient records. This drawing, along with the other information about the name, has been printed up into an attractive one-page report. Now, the genius, the genius of the copywriter that we find here in the second paragraph is that he's making this appear as little as possible as being a sales pitch. It is using what I refer to as a by-the-way kind of sales pitch. Okay? Like if you look at a Colombo picture, we know that his lines, would come, he would talk to the suspect, and just as he's about to leave the room, he would turn around and say, by the way. Well, what follows after that, by the way, is the most important line in all of his conversation. It normally catches the person off guard, and he's often able to get information that he wasn't able to get otherwise. Okay, so that is what I refer to, as by the way marketing, as a by the way strategy. Okay, so here what is mentioned here is that I'm not really trying to sell you something. Okay, it just so happened, and the mentioning the husband and I, mentioning that my husband and I discovered this, also is making it as personal as possible. In other words, she doesn't have to mention that her husband was involved, but it makes her seem real. Okay, and she's writing to a family, so she's indicating that I have a family, I have a husband, and I was concerned about where my name came from. I was concerned about where my family name came from. So it adds to the family appeal and casual, friendly appeal of the letter. And it is by the way. My husband and I, we were just doing some research, and we were, trying to find out some stuff for my friends and their last name, where they came from. And we also found out information about your family name, and maybe you might be interested the same way in which we are interested, and the same way in which my friends were also interested. And also here, now note here as well, to where he's indicating that he's really not trying to sell them anything. In other words, then he's hiding as much as possible the fact that this is a direct sales letter. He's hiding as much as possible the fact that I'm trying to sell you something here. Okay? Everything comes here is just, just by the way. Okay? So you say, we have had an artist recreate the coat of arms exactly as described in the ancient records. This drawing, along with other information about the name, has been printed up into an attractive one-page attractive one-page report. The bottom half of the report tells the story of the very old and distinguished, again appealing to their ego, exclusivity, family name of McDonald. It tells what the name means, its origin, the original family motto, its place in history, and about famous people who share it, again appealing to ego, about who share it. The top half has a large, beautiful reproduction of an artist's drawing of the earliest known coat of arms for the name of MacDonald. This entire report is documented, authentic, and printed on a parchment-like paper that is suitable for framing. So here in this second paragraph here, he's accomplishing a number of things. One, he's again appealing to the ego. Let them know that they are important. They have a part in history. There are famous people in their family line that they might be willing to claim, and boast about. It's building on their curiosity. They'll want to find out more about their family line and where their name comes from. Okay, we have a sense of we all have a sense of roots in us. We would like to know what our family roots are, and gives the importance of not the importance, but it kind of gives the popularity of DNA testing. Where people have been doing DNA testing in order to find out, which part of the world their family came from, and and so forth, the family tree. So, so all this has to do with a person's sense of origin, and they would like to know where the family came from, who are the important members. Okay, again, stroking the person's ego. So it tells the name, what it means, satisfying the sense of curiosity, their place in history, famous people, and they tell him that the top half of a large, beautiful reproduction of the artist's drawing of the earliest known. So this is something that you can be proud of. You'll want to show it off. You'll want to put it on your wall. And this is something that you would like to show off to to your family members and to the rest of your friends. Okay, again, ego, the ego appeal. Okay, so let's move on. Then it says that the report so delighted our friends that we have had a few extra copies made in order to share this information with other people of the same last name. Okay, here he continues with the casual, by the way, appeal as well too. So again, he's not saying that, well, I realize, wow, I could make a lot of money from this if I sell it to other people who have the same last name. No, I just so happen to have a few extra copies. And notice here as well too, he's already doing the takeaway selling strategy to let them know that, okay, I don't have a million of these things on my hands, so you might want to send for this right away. So even before he asks for the sale, he's already reminding them that I don't have a lot, I just have a few. Okay, so he's reminding them that if they really want a copy of this, they have to send for it right away. Okay, so the report is so delighted, our friends, that we have a few extra copies made in order to share this information with other people with the same last name. Again, it is casual. It's by the way. It's not that we want to sell you this stuff. We just so happen to have some extra ones on our hands, and you may just be interested in getting one for yourself. Okay? Brilliant. Now, framed, these reports make distinctive wall decorations, and they are great gifts. Now, what he's doing here is that he is building a picture of the person already possessing this product. Okay, and a very effective technique in copywriting. Especially if you're selling holiday travel products and so forth. You want to give the person a sense of them being there. Whatever product you're selling, you want to give the potential buyer a sense of them already owning the product. Okay, get them build a picture in their own mind of them actually having the product and enjoying the product. Okay, so this is what he's doing here. He's bypassing their decision to actually have the product. He not even mentioned them having it yet, or how they can get it, but he's letting them know what they can do, how they can use the product. Okay, you can frame it, put it on your wall. It's a great gift also for relatives, not only for yourself, but maybe you want to make it as a gift for relatives. So they might say, well, I may not be interested in it, but I know a relative, who would be interested in it. It should be remembered that we have not traced anyone's individual family tree. Okay, so here again, it's kind of indicating to them that it's not that I am doing particular research on you. Otherwise, the person might become a little bit nervous. Why is this person doing research into my family line? So it is letting them know that this research is totally anonymous. Okay, I didn't go doing some research on your family in order to find out anything like that. No, this is totally anonymous. Okay, we're just interested in the last name. We're not interested in any particular person. So it's giving them a sense of security. They don't have to worry about them doing some kind of a detailed look into their lives or anything like that. Okay, so we were not doing some tracing any one individual family tree, but we have researched back through several centuries to find out the earliest people named MacDonald. Okay, so in other words, then it lets them know I'm not doing any research on you. So you don't have to worry about your privacy. You don't have to worry about your security or anything like that. We're not going to come knocking on your door. We don't have a picture of you or anything like that, because, the person might have, infamous members of their family as well too. Okay, they might have a cousin or uncle that has gone to prison or done something wrong. And so they might feel a little bit uncomfortable in knowing that you have done this research into them. So that is why I think here he's mentioning that, we have gone way back to the earliest people that held this name. So this is nothing that you have to worry about. Okay, we are not delving into your business, your personal business. You don't have anything to worry about in this respect. Okay, we go far further back than present. Okay, so it says, so it tells them how they can use it and also kind of calm their fear about their privacy. Okay, now it says all we are asking for them is enough to cover the added expense of having the extra copies printed and printed and mailed. In other words, and again, I'm not in this to make a profit. I'm not in this to make any big bucks. I just happen to have these few extra copies on my hand, and maybe you may be interested in having one of these. Well, all I'm asking for you to do is to send $2 just to cover the mailing and the paper that is printed on, and I'll send it out to you. Okay, now this particular strategy is used. Commonly today as well too in marketing, where someone who have just published a book and they would like to make the book maybe an Amazon bestseller or something like that. So what they do is that they say they send out an email to their list and say they send an email to their list and say, I would like you to send this book to you free. All I'm asking to you is to pay $6.95 for shipping and handling, and the book is really free. Okay, of course, the book that is sent out is considered to be a sale, and sending out all these books, allow them to hit the number one Amazon bestseller list, and from there on, the book takes off. So, it's a common, marketing strategy that is used where you're saying, I would like you to send this CD to you. All I'm asking you to do is pay for shipping and handling. Of course, what you're paying for shipping and handling is going to more than cover the cost of the person's printing and sending the book to you, or printing and sending the CD to you. Otherwise, they wouldn't have done that. Nobody's going to I wouldn't say that nobody wouldn't do it, because there are many people who may have a loss, what we refer to as a loss leader. In order to gain leads, they might lose upfront to gain in the back end. Okay, but this strategy I'm referring to, most people still gain a profit from sending out the book to you free, whereas you're just paying shipping and handling. Okay, so it says, so all we're asking them is enough to cover the added expenses. So it sounds very reasonable. Again, I'm not selling you this stuff. All I'm asking you to do is to send me some money to cover shipping and handling, to cover the postage to you, which is quite reasonable. So you're basically saying, again, even here when you're asking for the sale, you're basically saying, I'm not selling this to you. I'm not really selling this stuff to you. So it says, if you are interested, please let us know right away, as our supply is pretty slim. Just verify that we have your correct name and address, and send the correct amount in cash or check for the number of reports you want. We'll send them promptly to you. Now, of course, here, if they didn't have, if you didn't have the person's correct address, there's no way that they will get the letter, and therefore there's no way we'll get a response. So the very fact that they're responding shows that you have the correct, address. But then here, it is, reason why marketing, and reason why copywriting rather, where, you're giving them, a reason, and then another reason for them to send for the information, because in sending for the information, they're also verifying that they have the correct, they have the correct address. And we send them promptly to you by mail. Okay, and here again, we see that it is signed to show the personalization. The PS, okay, the PS here says, if you are, the PS, here says that if you're ordering only one report, send $2. Additional reports ordered at the same time and sent to the same address are $1 each. So please make checks payable to me, Nancy L. Halbert. Now the PS, as I've often said, is one of the most read part of any sales letter. But here we see the perfect upsell. Why is this a perfect upsell? Because here he's asking for them to pay for an additional report. And the postage of sending one piece of paper or two pieces of paper is actually the same. So actually he's actually getting a 50% increase in each order by just asking them to send an extra $1. And whereas shipping back the two pieces of paper to them wouldn't be any more expensive than shipping one. Okay, so here again is an incredible strategy for that he used in order to bump up the sale. Now let's just go back to the beginning here and look at some of the an overview again of the strategy that he used. Now one of the things here you will note is the level to which he went of getting the letter personalized. Not that you want to use it over and over again, but see here it says, "Dear Mr. McDonald," okay, and here again you have another mention of the name as well too, McDonald, okay. And if we scroll through the letter, we see the number of times as well too where he mentions the name, McDonald. Again, here, okay, here the name. Oops, wrong marker. Okay, let me use another marker here. Okay, so here again, we have the the use of the name, McDonald. McDonald. Here again, the name is used again, McDonald. So the letter is really, really personalized. Not that you want to go overboard, but the letter is really, really personalized. And Gary Halbert himself indicate how he went, to so much length in order to make sure that the letter appears as though it was actually typewritten on a personal letter and sent from his wife home. Okay, now I've included a link in the interview that below in the interview that Gary Halbert did with Mark Joyner, so you can get more about the history of this, the history behind this letter. I was more concerned with the copywriting technique that was used, but as I indicated at the beginning here, what made this letter so successful is not so much the persuasive power of the letter itself, even though it's a very persuasive letter, but what made this letter so effective was the marketing idea behind the letter. And if you can have one good marketing idea, that is worth 100 million sales messages and letter. Okay, so a marketing idea is a lot more powerful than the marketing message itself. And this is what made this letter so successful, was the fact that Gary Halbert had this particular idea, that people would be willing to pay $2, send $2 in the mail in order to get the coat of arms for their product.